Well, hello, Facebook. How are you? Gonna wait for people to kind of chime in here. And I'm going to actually close these a little bit so I get some more intimate time. That's better. How are you? So I'm going to wait just a moment as people are kind of checking in right now. There's a lot of big stuff happening. How many of you are feeling it, especially the past 24 hours? Okay, how many of you are feeling this stuff? We're going to be talking about that. Just waiting for a few minutes for people to kind of log in here. Are you feeling all these storms? I know we just had 3 pretty big nor'easters here in New England. And I know Mother Earth has been talking pretty loudly in my ear. I don't know about you, but pretty loudly. So we're going to talk about, as people are logging in, about these shadows, these energies over the past 24 hours, the solar storms, messages Mother Earth has been sending, at least what I have been hearing, tips on what to do now, some upcoming supportive events to help you along the way. And at the end, I'm going to conclude by pulling a card for the day to help support all of us as we're going through this very paradoxical time, is what I would like to say. And I will also pull some cards for a few others towards the end of this video. So hopefully you will stay on for a little bit. So, and please, hi Betty, so please log in and please also invite others to share, because there's a lot of important information that I will be sharing with you here. So my goal is, just so you know, is to help illuminate your soul, guide you on your path, to help you remove toxicity and restore wholeness, okay? And what we can do right now is to improve the way we manage our self-care, as well as how we manage the energies. And it really starts with awareness. So I want to ask you, how many of you are feeling these energies, especially the past 24 hours? And I mean, these shadows that have been coming up have been brutal. How many of you have been feeling that? Okay. So one of the things that I know from me, I want to call it very paradoxical, because when we have these shadows, which has been really rising a lot, I really want to say since the solar eclipse, it has really been intensifying since then. And I really want to say that it also goes in alignment with what I've said in previous videos, with the whole divine feminine energies that have been rising ever since, and why the Me Too movement is more important than you can ever imagine. It is a catalyst for all other social issues, changes, but also the energies of what we're experiencing. We are currently experiencing right now a solar flare. The sun flew off a solar storm, I believe, on Sunday. And it has been getting ready to prepare to hit the earth plane. And those, especially in the New England area, I believe through Michigan, are going to really feel the intensities of this, especially if you are as sensitive like I am. Okay, we're going to be feeling this. And what it has been doing on top of what we're experiencing with Mercury going into retrograde, I was joking with a colleague of mine last week. I said, it really feels like Mercury's in retrograde already, even though it hasn't begun. And what I feel is happening is, even though these planetary alignments, which normally coincide with some of the things we're experiencing, they're intensifying. So it's really pushing us to address our shadows, which again have been rising. We can't fight them anymore. I'm sorry. I know the human conditioning is to, stuff our stuff in the box, right? We just stuff it. You know, the universe is really rattling our cages. But on the plus, one of the things that keeps me going is I get a lot of messages from the divine, and especially lately from crow, turkey, cardinal, and hawk. And if we just pause a moment and listen, Mother Earth really wants us to connect to her. When we, with all the chaos that's all around us, can just pause and just plug in, unplug to society, unplug from our devices, and plug into her, you just might find a different world that might just bring you more peace. I woke up even the other day, I was saying to a friend of mine that, I had a dream the day we had the nor'easter when I woke up, the third one, I should say, about Stephen Hawking dying. And I thought that was kind of strange. I said, I haven't even thought about him. I don't know why he's in my dreams. I didn't see anything on the news. I was kind of really taken back. And so I said, okay, well, that's interesting. There's got to be a message here. So I thought maybe it has to do with maybe some of the keys that we see that Einstein and other physicists had talked about, even Tesla, with the keys to the universe and what's happening. So I kind of dismissed it because I pretty much got caught into, like everybody else, with the storms. And I ended up going to bed early that night, and I woke up at around 3 o'clock in the morning with all this news that Stephen Hawking had passed away. And I was like, okay, this is very strange. Now, did he come to me, or was it a precog? I'm not sure. But again, these are all the different, I want to say, weird time loop stuff that's happening. Anybody experiencing this time loop warp weird stuff where your timelines seem to be really all over the place? How many of you are experiencing that? Okay, so one of the things that we have to look at is Mercury's getting ready to go retrograde next week, and it's going to stay in retrograde until April 9th. So because of all this stuff that is being amplified, okay, I did write, for those who go into my blog, the forecasts and how to manage the energies for 2018. This is an 11-year, and I talk about the paradox effect. Yes, it's an 11-year. We keep our thoughts positive. But if you are stuck in worry, anxiety, stress mode, guess what? It's going to be amplified. And we're going to be tested. Why? Because our shadows are rising. I had this experience yesterday, and I was really self-loathing. I was beating myself up. I know this work. I stay present. But that old shadow part wanted to rise and say, you know what? You're a piece of crap. You're not going to get to or amount to where you need to be. And it really brought my energy down, and I had to do a lot of sifting. How many of you were experiencing that in the past 24 hours? Just that alone. Okay? So the universe is forcing us. Then we bring these shadows up. We let them go. We bless them. All right? That blog, if you wanted to look, I can post the link afterwards if anybody's into it. But here's the thing. Last night I did a speech on 3 reasons of why to bless your junk. All right? I know I've posted multiple videos on this topic. But let's face it, we all got junk. Do we not? We all got stuff. We got stuff that we wish could just disappear, or we thought we dealt with. How many of you say, geez, that stuff is coming up? Why is it coming up? Why do I feel like I'm a hamster on this wheel, just keeps spinning and spinning and spinning? Because we are a society that we fix with Band-Aids. We don't go look deep. We don't go look to the root and how to heal that, how to love it, how to nurture it, so we can lovingly release the things that no longer serve us, okay? So we tend to brush things under the carpet, pretending it doesn't exist, whether it's illness, shame, betrayals, hurt, trauma. Trauma's a big one, okay? Failure. Maybe we hurt somebody. Maybe we failed at something, okay? We all do it. We do it with our junk mail. When we used to get a lot of junk mail before email came around, did we not? We just kind of piled it in a corner somewhere, or we just shoved things into a closet, saying eventually it's going to just disappear, and I'll deal with it another day. I'm too tired. I'm too exhausted. Even emails. How many of you get so many emails that you just don't know what to do? You go, oh, I'm just too tired, right? We do the same thing with our internal environments. We just are not aware of it. It is not in our conscious awareness. So we have to bring it into our conscious awareness. And when we have the courage, here's the reality, folks. Healing sucks if you want to get real and you want to get raw and you want to be free, how many of you want to be free to live your life as you came here and designed it to be? Well, then that means you have to get real and you have to look at those shadows. You can't keep ignoring them. You have to face them. You have to lovingly nurture them and loving yourself as you release them. Okay? When you do that, you transform your life, I promise you. I'm going on 13 years in my journey, and if I look at myself where I was 13 years ago, I really sometimes wonder how I got to where I am compared to where I was. You know, I am an empath. I feel very deeply. I also have worked a lot with trauma over the years. And as a survivor, you know, PTSD gets triggered very easily. So with awareness, it's how do we, when you get triggered, recognizing the trigger and learning how to let it go, learning how to release it. So each time these things happen, it becomes easier and easier to let them go. Okay, it doesn't mean that doesn't happen over time, but you have to look at the root cause and heal that. You have to bless it. Because when you don't deal with your shadows, you're also squashing and stuffing in the box all those gems, all that goodness, all that enrichment, all those pearls, all that beauty that your soul came here to shine. You're also stuffing that along with the shadows. So what happens when we bring those shadows out to light? It dissipates. So when it happens, just remind yourself that it's your ego, it's your head that is basically messing with you. And I call, excuse my language, the mindfuck games. You know, and I love going back to that Dave Chappelle video that I saw, God, maybe 10, 15 years ago, where he was on the airplane called the Fried Chicken, with the devil and the angel convincing him whether or not eating fried chicken was a good thing. And it's really the same thing. You've got your ego that's trying to convince you that, no, you need to go back. You need to keep stuffing it. And the soul wants to say, no, you need to shine. You need to be who you are. So there's a few things that are coming up before I pull the card, okay, for the day on how to handle all these energies, especially the next 24 hours. Again, we've got the Mercury Retrograde, the shadow. It feels like it's already in retrograde already, even though it's not. We've got the solar flare that's hitting the earth plane as we speak, so it's affecting all of us, especially that are sensitive. We have, if you need to de-stress, regroup, whatever, be with the tribe, we do have a Reiki meditation with the Tibetan bowls. If you've never experienced it, we have that Monday night at 6 o'clock in Hingham. We also have the Learn How to Bless Your Junk series. You don't have to be a trauma survivor, but we do have that coming up on March 31st here in Hingham. So it's learning how to take all that stuff we're talking about, and transform it. Transform it to what you came here to do. Transform it for happiness, for wholeness, for prosperity, for success. Take all that junk. So we have that class. And for those who may have some financial difficulty, we might be able to offer some partial scholarships for those who qualify. We also have a free presentation at the Healthy Living Expo on April 8th in Plymouth, where I'll be talking about how to heal trauma through the system of Reiki. So I'll be talking about that. That's a free presentation on April 8th. I also have some training coming up in May for Jikken and Reiki, which is very deeply rooted in Japanese culture and their foundation, which is Shintoism. So it's really different than a lot of westernized theories, and it's very deeply rooted. So if you're interested in training, we have that. We also have the Surrender to Self-Care, Journey into Self-Discovery, and Nurture Your Soul retreat coming up in May as well. They're all located on my website. I expect some of these to fill up very quickly because we've had a lot of interest. So now, any questions before we continue, before I pull the cards for the day? Any questions on what you might be experiencing? No questions. Any general questions? Have you heard of many are calling the event a huge wave of love crossing our galaxy, expected to hit the Earth earliest this weekend? I have been hearing probably not exactly that same, but I have been feeling, I should say, we have the clashes happening. We have this rise of the divine feminine, the rise of the shift in consciousness. And then we have that other element that doesn't want to change. So what happens when you toss two pebbles, right, into a pond? They clash. So that's what I feel is what we're experiencing. And those that are sensitive might also be feeling stuff that's not their own. It might be the shift of consciousness, that stuff of what maybe those that are resistant not wanting to go along with that. Okay. Any other questions? I'm not sure if I answered that for you, but I do feel this shift that is happening. Anybody else have a question before we pull a card for the day? Okay, this might even help answer some of your questions here, Astrid. Surrender to your outdated belief systems. Okay? Because this is what it's about. This is about bringing out the shadows. Those shadows are what's holding you back. Those shadows, that old stuff, that junk that we just keep allowing to pile up higher and higher and higher. Okay? And when we allow this stuff to build, then we create resistance. We have to shift. Again, I use the analogy of the butterfly. We always talk about how we want to be the butterfly, we want to fly. But we forget in order to become the butterfly, we have to let go of everything and all the identity. That's it, the attachments and the identity of the caterpillar. You can't be the caterpillar and the butterfly at the same time. Do you want a 60 by 54 frame mirror that came out of a yoga studio? We'll talk about that afterwards, Larry. Thank you. And I'm going to pull one more because I'm being guarded to the animal decks because animals have been speaking. And I have been channeling messages from Mother Earth. So one of the ones that I channeled the other day, which you can again go onto my blog to hear. And this was one from the nor'easter as I stopped and paused the other day. And it was, Mother Earth is sure pissed. She breathes. She lives. Why don't they see me? She says. Why don't they feel me? With each wave crashing over. Don't they hear my tears? She's making her stance, letting humanity know that abusing her is no longer tolerated. Abuse me, she says, and I'll reclaim all the gifts I've given you. Change is imminent. What does man do now? Does he hear her cries? Does he feel her pain? Time's up. Mother Earth is pissed. As she cleanses herself of man's trash from the depths of the raging seas, she helps cleanse my soul. I feel you. You and I are one. Feed me, and I will teach you respect. Cleanse me, and I will be your voice. Nourish me, and I will teach your wisdoms. Water is life. What do we do from here? Can man see beyond? See beyond the minute. Thank you. I hear you. I feel you. I align with you. And that was one. And the other one I was channeled the other day as well, the same week, was from a tree. I reach to the sky with my extended branches, catching each snowflake and letting them melt into my bark. My roots are nourished as I drink up and quench my thirst. I extend my reach underground to brace myself for these winds. My trunk holds me steady as I ride out the storm, balancing my branches above and my roots below. I provide you nourishment too, and provide you with the air you breathe. Why have you forsaken me? Do you not see my intrinsic value? We are connected, you and I. Don't you see me? Don't you see? Respect me, love me, nourish me, and I will provide for you. So those are two messages I have heard over the past week from our planet. And this card from our, boy, how coincidental. Porcupine. Free yourself of the guilt and innocence. Again, let that stuff, you are more protected, just like the porcupine has the quills to protect it from predators. We are protected divinely. There is nothing to fear but fear itself and the old paradigms, these shadows that are going to challenge you to keep you there. So I challenge you to work through your fears. And like I said, I have those workshops coming up if you feel called to them to help you. But this is where we're going. So now I'm going to be pulling cards. So who would like a card for the day? Who is ready for the card for the day? And I know there was a few people that chimed in earlier, but unfortunately I can't scroll, so I can't see who pulled. But who would like a card for the day? Okay, Julie. You have a lot of endings and beginnings. Okay? So it's time to trust that those endings you're experiencing are for the good. Okay? Oops. And how did I do that? How do I switch back? Oops. I think I just, here we go. Oh, there we go. Sorry about that. So, and it's scrolling so fast I can't keep up, so I apologize if I miss, because I'm only going to be able to pull 3 at this time, and I know I saw Betty and Leah. So Betty, for you it's to surrender defensiveness. Let go. That's you need to look deeper. You need to look more into your roots and find out what it is that you're so defensive about, because I feel like you already know this. And you're kind of beating yourself up for being that way. So I want to say, go deeper. What you're being defensive about has nothing to do with what you're being defensive. So I want to say, go deeper, because it's more than what you see. You understand? And I say, you got it. You got it. All right, there you go, girl. Leah, let's see. Oh, for you, it's Raven. If you haven't already, the Raven has been already coming to you, either in your sleeps or in person. So I want to say you need to trust the magic. You let go of the fear and trust, because the magic is there. You can manifest anything. Remember, we are in an 11 year. So yes, keep your thoughts positive. This is a year of manifesting. It's amplified. But if you keep focusing on your fears, those are going to be amplified as well. So the Raven is here to help you move and shift through that. Okay?